Ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike, Maddog Magnotti, welcome on this Memorial Day. Hey, I'm glad you're tuning in. I'm sure that many of you have taken the advantage of a Monday off, so you're sleeping in or you're laying in bed watching me. I'm glad you're not doing something else. But hey, it's good to have you here on this last Monday in May. This is a great time of year because we've got the whole summer ahead of us. You got a Monday off, great stuff. And hey, I got a really good guest today, but just a couple of things. You know, I was thinking lately, when I was a Boy Scout when I was younger, and I wonder really if it did me any good. You know, we look back on our lives as what we learned in school. Is it really something that helped us? You know, because the Boy Scouts, they taught me a lot of outdoor skills that would have made me a successful man if I had decided to become an explorer or a hobo. And again, lately, at a big conservative rally, you know, because even though we're 2 years away still, the election cycle is kicking up. But Donald Trump was introduced to this rally by his wife, Melania. And Melania said, Donald Trump is a man you can trust. I can't trust him, but you people, well... And then on the other side of the political equation, there's a group of anti-Trumpers who have started protests all around the nation. They're trying to bring their protests against President Trump to Washington, D.C. And what they want to do is bring their protests all the way up to the White House. You know, it's not easy to go all the way to the White House. Just ask Bernie Sanders. Okay, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike, Maddog Magnotti. Like I say, we got a good guest coming up, so you stick around. We'll be right back.
If you love tennis, you need to experience Central Washington's best-kept secret, Harmony Meadows. Harmony Meadows is a world-class destination tennis and event center nestled between the Cascades and Orchardland in the beautiful Chelan Valley. The 8 outdoor tennis courts feature Lake Hole Masters 8, a cushioned surface used at the Miami Open. There's also 2 outdoor pickleball courts. With the stunning backdrops, Harmony Meadows is your ace destination. Call or see them on the web. Harmony Meadows.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Street Talking Other Stuff, and I'm very happy to have, again, my good friend Vern Smith on. And Vern, I'm asking you to shake hands with me.
I will shake your hand. How are you?
See, I last had Vern on a while back. He and Dave Williams were directing the show, the fall show for music theater, Little Shop of Horrors, which was a huge success.
Fantastic show. It was fantastic. What a great cast.
Okay. Yeah, I'm speechless before the truth. I'm so full of crap. I can't believe it sometimes. You know, I asked Vern on for a different reason this time. Vern is a hobbyist beekeeper. He said he was kind of an amateur, and he asked me, when I asked him to come on and talk about beekeeping, you suggested maybe I have somebody who knows more than
I know some pros.
I want you here, baby. Okay?
It's good.
So good. But first, before we go into the beekeeping, you know, you're involved in theater in the community, have been for a while, but what else? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Let people get to know you a little bit.
Oh, myself. I don't like to talk about myself.
It doesn't matter, okay?
I know.
Make something up.
I got it. I'm going to tell the truth. Married, my wife Julie, son Spencer, and daughter Mary.
So Julie's a doctor, right?
Julie's a doctor. Yep. Spencer's in high school and Mary's in college at UW. Went to school in aerospace manufacturing engineering and worked in the aerospace world for quite a while, and then came here and did some other work. And now I mostly do theater and do too much of it now. And I own some rental houses. I do some landlord work. And,
okay. I know what that's like.
Yeah, I have a big piece of land, so I mowed grass for 3 hours today. And we did some beekeeping today.
Now you've had some pretty good parts with music theater. If I remember, it may not have been the first time I saw Vern, but they did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Maybe about what? 6 years ago?
6 years ago at least.
6 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
And you played the Indian. What was the character's name again?
It was Chief Bromden.
Yeah.
The chief.
I'm big on paying attention to people who are acting to see if they're believable.
Yeah.
You sold me 100%.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
I mean, there were some other good people in the cast, but I think I even sent you a Facebook message afterwards.
I did get a couple compliments on that, which was
Yeah.
it was great. I really appreciated it. It was difficult to actually, because there wasn't much to do. You had to be very still and very quiet. And,
You know,
And I want to look around and see.
the best acting is done when your mouth is shut.
Yeah.
You know, actually, no, that's not what you know when the best acting occurs?
When?
During the curtain call.
Go.
When everybody comes out and acts humble.
Yeah, they act humble. They bow.
Yeah. But then you also were in Man of La Mancha. You and I in that together.
Yep.
Okay, and then you played the monster in.
I was Frankenstein's monster and Young Frankenstein. That was quite a trip.
It's cool. It's good. Okay, so you've done some good stuff, and also he's excuse me, he's a great set builder. If you came to see Little Shop of Horrors, you saw a good example of his work. That one was a little bit extreme. Okay.
Well, that was. I did a bunch on Newsies too. That was a little
Yeah,
extreme
that's right.
too.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Well, beekeeping.
Beekeeping.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
What caused you to be interested in this particular field?
You know, we were just, and I say we because it's a family hobby for us, and we were interested in it before we could have bees. We lived in a neighborhood that had some covenants and they wouldn't allow bees there, and we just were interested in that. We wanted a little more of a homesteady thing to do, you know, with our life, and hey, lucky for us, 4 years ago, the fire took the house out, and
That's one way to look at it.
and we ended up moving to another house, a little more out in the country that has, actually the man who owned it already had bees and chickens, which were two hobbies we were looking to start up, and so we just moved right in and started into it.
But you're saying in your old neighborhood there were actual part of the covenants that said you couldn't keep bees?
Well,
I mean, that's getting a little picky, isn't it?
yeah, they were
Some
pretty
people-
tight covenants. They wouldn't let you do a lot of things.
Oh. Could you have a flag in your front yard?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Probably you could have a flag. But you can only have a flag in your front yard if you put a light on it, right?
Well,
At
technically.
night, unless
well,
you take it in every night.
That's a
There's-
federal
there's-
law,
Yeah,
right.
there's some rules about that.
Okay, but get back to beekeeping. We're talking about flag etiquette here, but back to beekeeping. What made you? I mean, you say it was something you were interested in. What caused you to be interested?
You know, I'm not sure. I really have an answer for that. It just. I mean, we're kind of a sciencey family, I guess. Interested in nature, animals, insects, birds, all the whole thing, and. Had, I guess, watched enough documentary or known enough about it to know that they were definitely an interesting animal, an interesting insect, and just something we wanted to try, I guess.
Okay.
You know, and we were able to and give it some effort.
Okay, so what was the startup? You said your wife, Julie, hey, we're going to get into beekeeping.
Yeah.
She said, okay, Vern, what do you do next?
Well, I'm kind of a studier, and so I started reading a little. We both did, but I started reading some books about it and joined the local beekeeping club, which I'll probably mention a couple times.
Yeah, please. I didn't even know there was a local
Yeah,
beekeeping
North
club.
Central Washington Beekeepers Association. You can find it on Facebook or the web. It's ncwbees.org, I believe.
Okay.
Highly recommended because it's where everybody gets together to talk about this hobby. It's more than a hobby for some, certainly, and it's a big hobby.
Sure.
It's much bigger than it's not like a fish tank.
Yeah.
hang them and get some fish and set them and
Yeah, well, I'm
look
sure
at
it's
them
gotta
once
be
in a
really
while.
involved, yeah.
It's a lot more work. So I studied, learned about it. I actually took the beginning apprentice beekeeper's class before I had any bees. Started in, I believe, in February probably of
And that's a class the local
2016.
club teaches?
It was from the local club teaches it. In fact, I believe they're getting ready to put another class together, so check it out on Facebook if you're interested. So I studied and learned about it, to find out what I needed to do, and of course there's some equipment to buy. There's a hive and suits and some tools and all of that, and then you've got to have a place, and there's some, depending on when you're in, the city approves, it's approved in the city, they have some limitations, but we moved in the county.
Right.
So it made it a little easier to be able to have them right away.
And where do you go to buy a hive? Where do you go to, I mean,
Well, so
go to
that's,
Amazon and order a
well,
beehive?
so there are different ways to do that, but that's part of what the club gets you to is that the buying power, and they have a group of people, and so every spring they do a bee buy, and so there'll be a bunch of bee packages or colonies that come in, and they distribute them to people who want to buy them.
Okay, well, that's new. See, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you. Where do you get the bees? You really can,
They come from breeders,
Okay.
growers that are breeding beehive, breeding queens and colonies of bees, and they sell them.
and how do they come packaged?
They come basically in two different forms. A package, we do call it, which is really just a cage full of bees, three or 4 pounds of bees, and a queen that will be separated in a separate container within that.
Okay.
Or what's called a nuke, which is basically it's a small hive. It already has frames, and it has a laying queen inside of it, and the colony's underway. And so those are the two forms, and I've bought it in both forms.
Okay, so let's say you do the first form, okay? I mean, does it come UPS or?
Well, I think you can get some things shipped in like that, but it's probably not the best way to do it for the bees. No,
Okay.
we get them from people who are in the region.
Okay, all right,
And
'cause
so
somebody will drive over and
Yeah,
bring-
we'll get
okay,
a
okay,
truck will pull up, and it'll have 150 colonies of bees in
Okay.
it, and then we'll distribute those out like they're kind of like donut day, but except it's bees.
Then how do you transfer them to a hive, actually?
Well, if it's the package type, the queen's really the key to
Sure.
a lot of this, and so you bring the queen in, and she's still in her little cage, and you have to put in a little piece of candy so that they have to work to get the queen out. You don't want to just put her in there. So that you put the queen in her cage in, and then you really dump them in. You dump the bees into the hive, and they won't leave because the queen's there.
Okay.
They'll stay there with the queen, and they will eat that candy from the hole and let the queen out and start their business.
Okay.
At that point.
Yeah, because one time when I was working patrol, when I was still with the police department, I said the old eye and ear clinic, they called us and said they had a swarm of bees in one of their bushes,
Yeah.
So I can't remember how I got a hold of somebody, because we ended up doing it for my daughter too a few years later when she had a swarm in her backyard.
Yeah.
And the guy came out and he's all suited up and he put his hive,
Yep.
the box underneath, and
Yep.
then just kind of shook everything. The bees all just fell into
Yep.
it, and then all just started.
Yep. As long as the queen gets into that
Yeah.
box, they will all follow her in, and they'll move in.
Okay.
There.
All right.
Yeah. Well, a swarm, there's a queen in the middle of that swarm. When you see that ball of bees, they're protecting her, and they're moving, looking for a new home.
Okay, so what was the training like when you took the first class? What kind of stuff did you learn about?
You just learn everything that there is about bees, or not everything there is, but everything that you can take. There's a lot of information, really, and it was very, very well done. There's some very thorough and educated people in the groups around here, beekeepers, who have a real love for it, and they're spreading it, the information as well as possible to help improve the health and the population of the honeybees.
Okay, and how many other people than you were in this particular class?
Oh, there were probably 16 of us.
Oh, really? That
16
many?
or 18.
Interesting.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
they all continuing on? And
Oh yeah, the
actually
club
doing
has
this
several hundred people, I believe, in
wow.
it now. There's a lot of beekeepers. A lot of beekeepers.
now? Learn something every day.
They're all around.
I figured there was maybe one or two around. But hey, look, I'm talking with Vern Smith. He is an amateur hobbyist beekeeper, and he's come to us to talk about beekeeping, which actually, I did a little bit of research before you came on. It's fascinating.
It is
We're going to get
fascinating.
into that a little bit, but we got to take our break. So Street Talk and Other Stuff this Memorial Day. You stick around. We will be right back.
Here at the YWCA Thrift Store, our mission is to make positive change in the community by giving women and families the tools they need to regain economic stability through work experience and education. Featuring generously donated new and gently used furniture, housewares, clothing, and much more, the YWCA Thrift Store has something for the whole family. Shop, volunteer, or donate with us today.
Did you know that dental disease is the #1 illness affecting a pet's health? Bacteria from the mouth gets carried into your pet's blood and can affect the heart, lungs, and kidneys. By age 3, nearly 75% of pets have some form of dental disease. Dr. Shauna Bass and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital care about your pets, and good dental care can help your pet live a long and happy life. Learn how to clean your pet's teeth or see what Paws and Claws can do to keep your pet smiling by calling 888-PAWS or see us on the corner of 4th and Island, East Wenatchee.
When it comes to accounting, we cover every aspect of it, from our comprehensive range of bookkeeping services designed to help your day-to-day business operations to our end-to-end tax service. From advice, planning, return preparation, and seminars, we offer you the best services with utmost professionalism, letting you focus solely on what you do best, managing your business. We offer solutions for success.
I'm talking with Vern Smith, who's not only my friend, but he's also an amateur hobbyist beekeeper, coming to talk to us about beekeeping today. Now, this is the fascinating stuff. Okay. You got a hive of bees, all right? Let's say you want another hive. What do you have to do? Okay.
Well, you can always buy another hive, but you can, they will create new queens. You can do a split, it's called, and there are several different versions of that.
Yeah.
But they will take, the bees are amazing. If they recognize that, so if you take some fresh eggs,
right,
that the other queen has laid, and you move them into another box with some worker bees, they will recognize that there's no queen left in that box,
right,
and they will choose one of those eggs and turn it into a queen,
right,
instead of just into a worker bee like they would have.
And how do they do that? What's the process?
All I can really say is that they feed it more royal jelly than the other eggs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting or amazing, really, the communication, the decision making that goes on in that hive around queens and around activity, and it's amazing to watch them and to kind of get in close with them. See how they act.
You mentioned the queens and the worker bees. What other?
There's a drone.
Yeah.
The workers do all the work, really. They change their job as they age, but they do everything. They protect the doorway. They clean the hive out. They build new honeycomb. They go out and get pollen and honey, and they feed the queen. They do all this stuff. All the drones really do is eat and breed with a new queen.
Okay, and how does the breeding take place? Now, this is part you may want to ask your young children.
Cover the the new queen, or like when I talked about the package earlier, if they've not been bred yet, they will leave the hive. They fly out. That's the only time the queen flies out of the hive, apparently. Yeah. Is they fly out one time. They mate with numerous drones, party night, and then they come home, and that's it. And she starts laying eggs, and and
they're laying like thousands of eggs.
Thousands of eggs for years. So the other bees only live a few weeks, but the queen can live years and can lay eggs for years.
All right, and it's also, amazing. I read, what happens if the queen starts to become not viable any longer? Okay.
Well, same thing. They will build and make a new queen to supersede, to replace the existing.
And then what does
queen.
that new queen do when she? emerges with the old queen?
There's different things that happen. Sometimes if they do it as a swarm, then the old queen, I believe, leaves with some of the bees, and the new queen will stay. But if it's just a replacement queen, she kills the other queen, I believe. And if they do, sometimes they will make multiple queens at once in this circumstance, and the first queen that hatches goes around and stings all the other
that's right.
queens, so that there's only one. There can be only one.
It's kind of like almost like
Highlander.
like Game of Thrones.
No, that's not.
Everybody dies sooner or later. Okay. All right. So what? Okay. The purpose of raising bees is more than just. There's just more than one purpose, right? We need bees to pollinate, otherwise we're not going to have fruit and vegetables, okay?
Yeah.
But then the bees you're raising, are they producing?
Oh, they produce quite a bit of honey as long as they're healthy and doing well. Yep.
And then how do you process that? Do you do that yourself, or do you have somebody do that?
We do it ourselves.
Okay.
It's just a centrifugal spinning device. You pull the frames of honeycomb out, and you score or remove the wax. They pack each little cell with honey and then put wax over top of it, so you have to clean that out. And then spin it out and collect it into jars, buckets.
And then you have two marketable products. You've got both the honey and the beeswax, right? Isn't the beeswax a marketable product?
It is, but the beeswax, you don't get a lot of wax because they build out the honeycomb to use, and really you want to save that and not collect that wax.
Because, so you actually put the comb back in? I didn't know that.
Because otherwise they have to build it again, and then that's a lot of work for them to do.
Okay. What, have you been stung?
I was stung about 3 hours ago.
Okay. And
I don't normally actually get stung.
You're evidently not allergic
but
to it.
It's funny because I knew you were going to ask me about that, and I wear the bee suit I wear is just because I'm normally wearing jeans, it's a hoodie. It's basically a heavy hoodie. It comes down past my waist. And I didn't know it, but I had a tear in the back of my jeans behind my knee from, just some work pants, and a bee got in through there and stung me.
Okay.
But
you're not allergic?
I'm not deathly allergic. I mean, it'll swell up a little bit, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I prefer not to be stung.
Oh, well, of course. Sure. Okay, but what causes the bees to sting? Because I've seen guys working around beehives, not getting stung, and then you've also seen those pictures of kids with bees just sitting on them.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, I don't know that I know all the answers to that, but it's interesting though. They're very defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be very calm and nothing's going on, no concerns, or they can be very angry. The weather has a lot to do with that. How you're handling them has a lot to do with that. I know people who don't use gloves when they work in their hives.
Yeah.
I like to wear gloves.
Yeah, I would too.
I've actually been stung through a leather glove under my hand before. That's rare, I think, but they can. Anyway, so there's a guy in the bee club. They call him the Bee Whisperer. He never wears. I don't think he wears suits. He may wear a veil. I don't know, but it's not me. That's for sure.
Yeah, because one time I used to have a girlfriend years and years ago. And, her father had an orchard, and we were walking through the orchard, we're talking about the trees, and we came by a hive, and all of a sudden, for some reason, this doggone bee took offense to me. Mm-hmm. And, I'm allergic. If I get stung, I really swell up. Matter of fact, my mom once said, if you get stung again, I'm taking you to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I just ran, waving my arms around. He never did get me, but that doggone bee, the guy, I feel like a jerk because my girlfriend's dad is watching me run.
Yeah, they have some different behaviors they do. Like they have a flight path. If you sit back and watch them, they have a very specific flight path. They'll all be running down these different paths. And if you go stand in the middle of that path, you might get stung pretty quick because they're just like, hey, you're in my way. And but sometimes they will come up and they'll hit you. They won't sting you. They're like warning you. They'll hit you and fly by, and you'll know they're starting to get mad about this. Sometimes the smoker helps with that. It doesn't always help with that. The smoker makes them supposedly makes them think it's a defensive reaction like there's a fire, and so they go in to eat honey.
Okay.
That's what they're doing. When
Okay,
the smoke doesn't calm them down, it actually makes them think there's a fire, so they go into the hive and start eating honey.
Okay,
Gives them something to do.
I thought the smoke kind of, I don't know, made them drunk.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it does. I think it does.
And what do you use to burn inside the smoker to get it to?
I just use pine needles.
Really? Okay.
Pine needles from a pine tree.
Because I knew one guy once years ago was using old cow patties.
I don't really want that smoke while I'm working,
All right, so you enjoying it?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
It must be interesting.
For sure, it's very interesting.
Okay, what happens to the bees during the winter?
The winter, they basically hibernate.
Yeah.
They kind of ball up around the queen and endure the winter, and that's the hard time. A lot of hives are lost during the winter. That's really a big part of the goal is getting the bees through the winter. And we've not mentioned yet the mite infestation problem that all beehives have. It's a pretty critical piece of the pie.
And how do you fight that?
Constantly.
Really?
Well, you have to measure the you don't have to, but you can measure how many mites there are in the hive by doing a sample. I actually took a sample today, wash it with alcohol, do this test, and find out how many mites I have per 100 bees. And then there are some different chemical treatments. There are some other treatments that are non-chemical. They are not as effective, but pretty much every beehive in the world now, except for Antarctica, and I think Australia doesn't have them yet, has a mite problem, and you have to fight them, or else the mites decrease. I think I lost a couple hives this winter, and I believe that's what happened, is I just didn't do a good enough job with the mite treatments, that they bring the population of the bees down before winter, and there's just not enough critical mass, so there's not enough bees to make it through the winter.
Okay.
Enough population.
Have you ever had any animal problems, like bears coming and open up the hives?
I haven't had that where we live, no.
But that does happen.
That does for sure happen. I know folks that have had bears, especially Leavenworth area and up around there, Chelan, Manson, they'll get bears in the hives. They put electric fences around their hives. Raccoons, supposedly, and mice and rats and all that, but I've not really had any problem with that.
Okay. Well, hey, we're talking with Vern Smith. He is an amateur hobbyist beekeeper, giving us a lot of information today on this Memorial Day. But hey, I appreciate you being here. We're going to be right back to say goodbye to Vern, so stick around. We'll be back in a sec.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Open 7 days a week, Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in or take it to go, our friendly staff is here to serve you. Reservations recommended for Friday night's prime rib dinner. All for live music dates. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Vern Smith, a amateur hobbyist beekeeper, and you just want to name the club again, right? So
yeah, for sure. If you're interested in beekeeping, I highly recommend getting involved with it. And you don't have to get involved as much as just joining the club. There's a great deal of information. It's North Central Washington Beekeepers Association, and there's a local group that sells some good products, Wenatchee Valley Bee and Supply. You can get anything online also, but it's nice to buy local.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Glad to be here, okay?
Thank you.
But hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff, Mike Maddog Magnotti. Have a great Memorial Day. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey folks, Carrie Terry from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air, and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you, folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. Wildaboutberries.com.